Hey geometry students, so today we learned about the midpoint formula, and so one type of problem that we learned was how to find the midpoint given two endpoints, and the other kind of problem that we learned was how to find the endpoint if we're given a midpoint and an endpoint. So these are midpoint endpoint problems. Okay, so with this one it helps us to remember what the midpoint formula was. So I'm going to write this down for us. We've got xm, ym, those are the coordinates of our midpoint, equals x1 plus x2 over 2. So adding up our x coordinates and dividing by 2. And then y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Okay. So we're going to label the information that we're given, and then we're going to plug it into this formula to see if we can figure out how to solve for the other endpoint. So this is our midpoint we're given, so that's our xm, ym. And then this endpoint we're given, we can either call it x1 or, so we can either call it x1x, or, words. x1, y1, or x2, y2. It does not really matter as long as we are consistent with what we pick. So I'm going to call this x1, y1. Okay. So since this is xm, ym, I'm going to take these two coordinates and I'm going to plug them in for xm, ym. So when I set this up, I'm going to have the coordinates 7, -9 equals, and then I'm going to take my x1, -3, and I'm going to plug it in for the x1 in the formula. I'm going to take the y1, which was 5, and plug it in for the y1 in the formula. So we'll have -3 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, 5 plus y2 divided by 2. Okay, so far we have just this set of coordinates equals this set of coordinates. And we want to come up with some equations that we can use to solve for this x2 and y2 because that's going to be our other endpoint. So that's our goal. Okay, so now I know this 7 and this x coordinate need to be equal to each other because we have a set of coordinates we're saying are equal to each other. It's part of the formula. So I'm going to match these up. I'm going to go 7 equals -3 plus x2 over 2. And I'm going to solve for x2 using this method. So I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides, just using algebra here to get rid of the fraction. 2 times 7 is 14. Then I'm going to add 3 to both sides. That gives us 17 here equals x2. So now we know our coordinate, our x coordinate of the other endpoint is 17. All right, so we're halfway there. Now we just need to find the y coordinate. So I'm going to do the same exact thing, but with the y coordinates here. I'm going to match them up. So I know -9 is my ym, my y coordinate of the midpoint, and I want this to equal that y coordinate. So I'm going to match them up. I'm going to go -9 equals 5 plus y2 divided by 2. And we're going to solve this the exact same way that we solved this equation. We're going to multiply by 2 on both sides first. 2 times -9 is -18. Subtract 5 on both sides. -18 minus 5 is negative 23. And if you're ever having trouble adding and subtracting the integers, just make sure you use a calculator to double check yourself. You don't want to have that be the step where things get messed up. All right, so negative 23 equals y2. So now we have our x coordinate and our y coordinate for our final answer. So our final answer is going to be a coordinate point. It's 17, negative 23. That is our final answer. Okay, so hopefully this helped. If not, feel free to slow it down, watch it again, ask me questions in class, or before school, at lunchtime, after school. Come get help if you need help. But yeah, good luck on the homework.